Russian media say two inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency will stay at Ukraine's frontline nuclear power plant on a permanent basis. IAEA inspectors have conducted initial checks on the plant in Zaporizhzhia after delayed arrival to the site yesterday. They confirmed that the physical integrity of the Russian-occupied plant had been violated several times amid bombardments nearby that Russia and Ukraine blame each other for. IAEA inspectors are returning to the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia plant for a second day. It's unclear what steps the agency will take to prevent further damage from fierce combat around the plant. The 14-member group, headed by IAEA Chief Rafael Grossi, is aiming to avert a nuclear catastrophe after weeks of shelling sparked fears of a potential radiation leak. Russia says it views the UN visit as positive, while Ukraine claims Russia has tried to sabotage the visit. Shamim Chowdhury joins us live from Lviv. Shamim, will the UN inspectors' decision to remain at the plant pose any difficulties for either Russia or Ukraine?
Well, the idea is to establish the opposite way, Sue. The idea is to not make it complicated, but to establish safety and security in the unit. Now, Rafael Grossi was there yesterday. He is, we understand he's on his way to Vienna now and will be giving a press conference at 8 o'clock local time. But he did reveal, give us some kind of insight into what he got up to inside the unit yesterday. He said that him and his team were given access into the units, into the diesel generators, into some of the emergency systems, and that they spoke to some of the people working there. However, he has said that there was clear signs that the physical integrity of the parts of the unit had been violated. In other words, it had been attacked, it had been struck by mortar shelling, and that this is something that they will have to look into further. But we do have to bear in mind this was a very tightly controlled mission. The site has been occupied by the Russians since early March. It was Russian officials who showed them around, and one Ukrainian worker, told the Ukrainian press today that the visit was a circus. That is how he or she described it. Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, also lamented the fact that no foreign media were allowed into the site while Grossi and his team were there. It was all Russian media, and he is also deeply unhappy about the fact that there has been no movement on his request for demilitarizing the unit. Now, Russia wants Grossi to present his findings to the UN Security Council, but no more has been said about that as of yet. Grossi himself has said that this trip, his visit yesterday, which lasted about 5 hours or so, was just the beginning, and he said that the real work starts now.
Shamim, apart from its war in Ukraine, Russia's military also hosting forces from China and India at the Vostok 2022 exercises. What's the significance of this joint war games at this point of crisis in Europe?
Essentially, Russia wants to show that it has military cooperation with a number of allies around the world in the face of growing tensions with the US and the Ukraine. Now, this is an annual event. It is due to last until the 7th of September. China is taking part, but also India, Laos, Mongolia, and a few other countries. But it's something that the Ministry of Defence in the UK has been quite critical of. Now, Vladimir Putin is saying that 50,000 troops will be taking part in this exercise, but the Ministry of Defence said it's as little as 1,500. The Ministry of Defence has also pointed out that Russia has suffered very severe losses in its war with Ukraine. A very conservative estimate is 40,000. That's including deaths and injuries. But on Russia's part, this would make it even more crucial for this war games is quite frankly the way that it's effectively described. It should take place at this time. I mean, it is Russia, far from expanding its territory in the eastern part of Ukraine, has been at the very least contained by the Ukrainian counteroffensive that started on the 29th of August. Just today, we're hearing from the Ukrainian army that the city of Sloviansk was hit by the Russians. A kindergarten was struck in that city. In Melitopol, an ammunition depot was hit. A Russian ammunition depot was hit by the Ukrainians. And in Kherson, the largest city in the south, which Ukraine has said it wants to recapture, a ferry crossing has been attacked. In the face of all of this, these military exercises send out the message by the Russians that they are not losing confidence, that they are not about to give up, and that their military is as strong as it ever was. Of course, that is highly debatable, and certainly from intelligence from the Western world, that seems not to be the case. But it seems as though Russia is digging in its heels, and this demonstration is one way of doing that.
And thanks, Shamim. That was Shamim Chowdhury speaking to us live from Lviv.